The story of Buckingham Palace. A journey through history. Buckingham Palace, the official London residence of the British monarch, stands as one of the most iconic and recognizable landmarks in the world. Yet, its story is not just one of bricks and mortar, but of transformation, history, and tradition. This magnificent palace, with its majestic façade, sprawling gardens, and rich interior, has evolved over centuries to become the symbol of the British monarchy. The origins. From Buckingham House to Buckingham Palace. The history of Buckingham Palace begins in the early 18th century, long before it became the royal family's central residence. Originally, the land was a marshy area near the River Tyburn, which was later transformed into a manor house owned by the English Duke of Buckingham. In 1703, John Sheffield, the first Duke of Buckingham, and Normanby, commissioned the construction of a large townhouse, which would be known as Buckingham House, designed by William Winde and built by John Fitch. The house cost approximately £7,000, a substantial sum at the time. The building featured a brick and stone structure, 3 stories high, with 2 wings extending towards the gardens. The house was intended as a private residence for the Duke, but its location and grandeur quickly made it a landmark in the West End of London. After Sheffield's death, his widow sold the house to King George III in 1761 for £21,000, equivalent to about £3 million today. The purchase was intended as a private residence for Queen Charlotte, George III's wife, and soon became known as the Queen's House. The acquisition of Buckingham House marked the beginning of its transformation into a royal palace. The transition to a royal palace. Expansion and construction. It was King George IV who, in the early 19th century, envisioned turning Buckingham House into a grand palace fit for the monarchy. In 1820, upon becoming king, George IV hired his favorite architect, John Nash, to begin the transformation. Nash was tasked with enlarging the house and turning it into an opulent royal residence. His ambitious plans included adding new wings, extensive gardens, and a grand entrance. Nash's work began in 1825, and the project would take several years to complete, with the cost spiraling far beyond the initial budget. By 1829, the expenditure had reached £450,000, approximately £56 million today, leading to Nash's dismissal due to the overrun. However, his design laid the foundation for the palace as it stands today. The work was continued by architect Edward Bloor, who was appointed to finish the project after Nash's departure. Bloor completed the eastern front, including the famous balcony from which the royal family greets the public. The palace was finally completed in 1837, just in time for the accession of Queen Victoria. She became the first monarch to reside in Buckingham Palace, and it was under her reign that the palace truly became the central seat of royal power and a symbol of the British Empire. Despite its grandeur, the palace faced criticism for being cold and drafty, with reports of chimneys that smoked excessively and ventilation that was inadequate. Further developments and the cost of construction. The initial construction of Buckingham Palace was far from the end of its evolution. Over the years, several monarchs have made changes and additions. In 1847, Queen Victoria, finding the palace too small for her growing family, commissioned Edward Bloor once again to add a new wing. This expansion created the quadrangle structure of the palace, enclosing the courtyard. By the end of Queen Victoria's reign, Buckingham Palace had become a complex building, reflecting a mix of architectural styles. Further significant changes were made in the early 20th century under King George V, including the refacing of the palace's exterior with Portland stone in 1913, giving it the neoclassical appearance it has today. The estimated total cost of these developments, adjustments, and renovations over the years is thought to exceed £1.5 million, which would be the equivalent of around £175 million today. Security provisions. Protecting the palace. Given its status as the official residence of the British monarch, Buckingham Palace is one of the most secure buildings in the world. Security at Buckingham Palace is multi-layered and combines both visible and covert measures. The palace is guarded by the Queen's Guard and Queen's Life Guard, which are part of the Household Division of the British Army. These guards are highly trained military personnel, known for their distinctive red tunics and bearskin hats. In addition to the ceremonial guards, Buckingham Palace is also protected by the Metropolitan Police Services, Royalty, and Specialist Protection Branch. This unit employs a range of modern security measures, including surveillance cameras, infrared sensors, and armed officers. The palace grounds are surrounded by high walls, and access points are heavily monitored and controlled. Over the years, the palace has also adapted its security in response to various incidents, such as the infamous break-in by Michael Fagan in 1982, who managed to enter the Queen's bedroom. This event led to a comprehensive review and enhancement of the security measures around the palace, including the installation of more sophisticated alarm systems and additional police patrols, annual maintenance costs, and the modern era. Maintaining such a historic and sizable structure comes with substantial annual costs. The British royal family receives funding for Buckingham Palace's maintenance from the Sovereign Grant, which is public money allocated annually to support the monarchy's official duties. In 2020, it was reported that the cost of maintaining and renovating the palace was approximately £37.5 million per year. This includes everything from structural repairs to security upgrades, cleaning, and the upkeep of the palace's extensive gardens. Recently, Buckingham Palace has been undergoing a significant 10-year refurbishment project, estimated to cost around £369 million, aimed at replacing outdated infrastructure such as wiring, plumbing, and heating. This work is expected to modernize the palace, improve its environmental sustainability, and preserve it for future generations. Tourism, a major attraction. Buckingham Palace is not just a royal residence. It is also one of London's most popular tourist attractions. The palace opens its doors to the public every summer, allowing visitors to explore the staterooms, the throne room, and the picture gallery. On average, over 500,000 visitors tours the palace each year during this open period, generating significant revenue. It is estimated that the annual income from tourism and associated activities is around £20 million. Visitors are also attracted to Buckingham Palace for events like the Changing of the Guard, a colorful and highly ceremonial spectacle that draws thousands of spectators daily. This event, along with royal events such as Trooping the Colour, helps boost London's status as a global tourist destination. Cultural significance and the role of the palace. Today, beyond its architectural grandeur and historical significance, Buckingham Palace plays a vital role in the cultural and political life of the United Kingdom. It serves as the central stage for state occasions, receptions, and ceremonies, hosting dignitaries, politicians, and members of the public. The palace is the headquarters of the British monarchy's administrative offices, including the Private Secretary's office, the Lord Chamberlain's office, and the royal household. In times of national crisis or celebration, Buckingham Palace acts as a focal point for public expression. It was from the palace balcony that King George VI and Queen Elizabeth, later the Queen Mother, appeared to acknowledge the end of World War II in Europe in 1945. Similarly, in times of celebration, such as royal weddings or jubilees, the palace becomes a gathering place for thousands of well-wishers. The palace is also a venue for numerous charitable and cultural events. The Queen's Garden Parties, held several times each year, are a tradition that celebrates and rewards public service. These events serve to connect the monarchy with people from all walks of life, fostering a sense of national unity and continuity. The future of Buckingham Palace. Looking forward, Buckingham Palace remains an evolving institution, balancing the weight of history with the demands of modernity. The ongoing refurbishment and modernization efforts are indicative of a commitment to preserving the palace's legacy while ensuring it meets the needs of a contemporary monarchy. As discussions about the future role of the British monarchy continue, Buckingham Palace will undoubtedly remain at the heart of those conversations. As it stands today, Buckingham Palace is much more than a building. It is a living symbol of British heritage, a testament to the resilience of the monarchy, and a focal point for national identity. Its history is rich with tallies of kings and queens, political intrigue, architectural innovation, and cultural change. The story of Buckingham Palace is far from over. It continues to unfold with each passing year, adapting to new circumstances while remaining a steadfast icon of continuity and tradition in the ever-changing landscape of Britain. Through centuries of evolution, adaptation, and transformation, Buckingham Palace has proven to be more than just a royal residence. It is a monument to British history itself. The palace's walls, corridors, and gardens hold the echoes of centuries past, even as they continue to host the ceremonies, rituals, and decisions that shape the future. And so, Buckingham Palace stands, both as a guardian of tradition and a symbol of a nation's enduring spirit.